Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today, including Nathan Rourke, standing by, are sponsored by Passant Motors, celebrating over 30 years in the business. Let them show you why they are top-rated pre-owned car dealer. Learn more at Passant Motors, BASANT Motors.com. Over the weekend, Nathan Rourke signing a 3-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the wake of a spectacular 2022 CFL season with the BC Lions. And Nathan joins us now. Nathan, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Any chance you signed the deal when the moment Jacksonville was down 27-0 on Saturday?
No, that wasn't part of it. We had made the decision a couple of days before, and we were just watching the game. And honestly, with the way that team battled back from that deficit, and it looked like no one really panicked and they stayed together, that's a sign of a good team. So I was excited about the fact that they were able to win and look forward to watching them this weekend.
Nathan, we have all sorts of football experts on this show. You worked out for a dozen teams. Nobody picked Jacksonville. All the big shots. Nobody picked Jacksonville. What made you decide on that team?
Yeah, well, out of those 12, I think you look at those situations first, and that's how we narrowed down to that dozen to begin with. And honestly, it came down to the opportunity that I was going to get with that team. The amount of support and belief that team has in you, and the opportunities they're going to give you, or at least that they tell you that you're going to get when you get to the building. I think those are all really important things. To me, I wasn't going to go to a team that I didn't think I was going to have a shot of making the active roster and being the number 2, which I feel like I have in Jacksonville. It wasn't worth it to me to go into a situation where, maybe I'm going to end up on practice roster. To me, that it'd be more worthwhile my while to stay with the Lions at that point. So I feel like I have a really good opportunity to go to a really good coaching staff, front office, high integrity, high character people, something that I'm really excited about. I'm excited to learn Doug Peterson's system. He seems like a great person, but also a great football mind. All those kind of factors kind of led to this decision, and not an easy one by any means. It was certainly tough to leave what I had in BC. But I think this is an exciting step for my future, and something that I've wanted to do for a very long time, since I was a child, I think, and very excited about that.
Doug Peterson, known as a quarterback guru. Henry Burris, former CFLer, is part of his staff. Did Henry pull for you? Was he part of the reason you ended up in Jacksonville? Was he part of your support system down there?
Yeah, I've been very lucky with Henry Burris. I mean, I've had the chance to talk to him on one occasion before, and he's been obviously a big advocate of me and other great CFL players. And he was one of the guys that said, "Hey, like, you need to get this guy on your radar and make sure that you're watching him." And I know that he was rooting for me to come down, and at some point we would have a chance to work together. And so I've been in contact with him throughout the process, really just leaning on him for advice more than anything. He was in a similar situation where he was in the CFL, had a chance to go down to the NFL, didn't work out. He told me that situation wasn't right, and it would have, if it was up to him, he would have stayed in the CFL. And I just tried to take his advice of going into a situation where you're going to have a chance to play. And I feel like I'm going to have that in Jacksonville. I think the goal for us was just to go into a situation where we would have a chance to be a play away. And that was really the main thing. And that was part of Henry's advice. And I'm really looking forward to having the chance to work with a Hall of Fame quarterback and someone who's just a high character caliber type of person.
When you say a chance to play, Nathan, you mean initially anyway, as a number 2, as a backup. Mm-hmm. Why does playing behind somebody and it's been quick, but so respected as Trevor Lawrence makes sense for you?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you look at the NFL and you look at the amount of starting quarterbacks that were in the NFL this year. There were 64 different quarterbacks, and that means that number 1 quarterbacks were getting hurt. They were missing time. And so if I get to a situation where I'm able to be the number 2 and be the next guy up, who knows what's going to happen. You never wish anything bad for Trevor. You want him to be able to play, and you never wish injury. But if you're in it just happens. That's just football. And I think it was 65% of starting quarterbacks had an injury last year in the NFL. So it was the same thing when I came to the CFL. I knew that if I had a chance just to be the number two, who knows what's going to happen. Things just football happens. Big hits happen. Someone has to get their helmet adjusted for a play and they have to come out. Those are situations where you want to be the next guy up and be a play away to be able to play. But I'm also talking about just preseason reps and getting preseason film. Film in the NFL is huge. And once I get that, I think teams will be a little bit more comfortable, bringing me in for perhaps a number one shot somewhere down the road. But I think it starts with being a chance to be a play away from getting on the field.
Nathan, how tough leaving Vancouver. You know what? People that never talk CFL in this market were talking CFL because of you. They gave you the opportunity to be the starter. You flourished with it. Talk about leaving Vancouver. How tough was it?
Yeah, it was certainly tough. For me, I mean, one of the best locker rooms that I've ever been a part of. I thought that the way that the front office, our coaching staff, how they handled everything was just really high class, and a lot of respect for the people in the building. And honestly, that was the toughest part was trying to leave. Put the thought of leaving them in my mind up against a dream that I've had for a while. And you don't count on the relationships being that strong and being that meaningful, that impactful. And I think the comfortability of learning the offense and knowing the offense and going back into a system where you're comfortable in, I think that was part of it. And also I think leaving some things on the table in the last game in the West Final, those are all things that were weighing on me as I was making this decision. But ultimately we went in a different direction. But very, very thankful and grateful to the organization of the BC Lions of giving me a chance, and I will always be grateful for that. I think we left on very good terms.
Biggest part of your story for me is you're Canadian. We just haven't had a Canadian quarterback make the impact that you have had in the CFL in a long time. Talk a little bit about that. Being Canadian, there's got to be some kid out there that's saying right now from here to Newfoundland, saying I'm going to be the next Nathan Rourke.
Yeah, I mean that's just part of the experience that's really fun, and the fact that me just going out and doing what I love is able to impact someone else in a positive way. I think that's just a really cool thing, and just part of having a great platform that as professional athletes we're able to have. And I'm glad that something that I love is it being able to be shared with other kids, and just because of where you're born doesn't mean that you're restricted in how high you can dream and how big you can dream. So that's definitely something that I take a tremendous pride in, and hope to continue to do in this next step of my journey.
Nathan, how's the foot? How's your health?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Obviously I haven't really had true time off since the season ended. Took a couple of weeks after the West Finals for it to kind of the beating there that it took there to die down. But after that, we were on the workout circuit train, right? So I was just kind of maintaining a certain level of health just so I could get through the workouts. And I'm really looking forward to having some time now dedicated to proper rest and recovery. I have a surgery to get the hardware out at the end of the month. And looking forward to that. I think there's a lot of right now it's less pain and more of just restriction and mobility. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to my true form soon. That recovery is not very long at all. It should be about 3 to 4 weeks. And so I'm looking forward to really getting back and doing things that I'm used to doing and not having as much restrictions as I do now. So very much looking forward to that.
Nathan, as we let you go here, hearkening back to Rick's questions, but do you have a message for BC Lions fans?
Yeah, I'm just so thankful for the opportunity to be your quarterback, for welcoming me with open arms, and for coming and watching the team play. And you are a huge part of what made this season so special. For coming to BC Place and packing it and making it loud, and making it a tough places for opponents to play. Like, that's all part of what made this year so great. And I know that the team's going to need you next year, and need you to show up in big ways like you did this year. And hats off to Mr. Doman and his team for making it a continuous, fun environment for fans to come. And I'm appreciative of what you did this last year, and for making it meaningful to me. And so we'd love to see that continue in the future. So thank you very much for that.
You know this, Nathan. No shortage of people pulling for you up here, not just in Vancouver, but across the country. Best of luck, my friend. You've always been cooperative with us, and we sure appreciate it. All the best.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.